The handle is the same dryness as your mug. Why?
So it slips nice.
So it what?
So it slips like well. So it sticks well.
So it sticks well, but it stays stuck.
That's right.
Because what happens to clay as it dries?
Gets harder.
And it shrinks, right? So if two different clay pieces are shrinking at different rates, they're going to pop off of one another eventually. Okay? So you want them to be as close in the stage as possible. This is a handle that I made first period, and it is just about leather hard enough to join. So what I need to do is, first of all, I'm not going to use this whole handle, but I'm going to choose the section that I feel is going to look the nicest. And I never try to cut off too much initially because I don't want to overcut. But what I'll do is I'll find the section of the mug that looks the most interesting for joining the handle. And that feels maybe a tiny bit big still. And I noticed that the cut at the top is not quite aligned. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put it back down. And I'm going to adjust the angle just a little bit. And I'm going to take a little bit more off the bottom. I'm going to line this up and see how I like that. And I'm liking that a little bit better. Okay? So the other thing you always want to do is you want to look at it from this direction to make certain that the top is directly above the bottom. Some people get so concerned with looking at it from the side that they forget to make the top part of your handle directly above your bottom. And once you've done that, what I'll often do is take a pencil or a little needle tool and I'll mark where I plan on joining that handle. Because what do I need to do before I can join the handle? Absolutely, and if you don't do this, your handle will pop right off. So make sure you are scoring deeply, okay? And you're scoring the surface of your handle as well, very deeply. And for the time being, until we make up new, fresh slip for the new clay body, water acts as slip as well because water and clay is slip. So if you moisten the score marks really well, and then you take your handle and you position it over your other score marks and you press, it's really important that you give it consistent pressure and you want to really make sure it sticks. So you really have to press it into the side, and I often will go around the seam and just kind of blend the seam around the handle as I go. And the trick with handles is you don't want to overwork them, you don't want to over touch them once you get a good attachment, because you want it to have a graceful, continuous curve. You don't want it to be clunky and bent and awkward looking. So the less you can handle it, the better off you are. Some artists leave the bottom of their handles very kind of rough, so you see the thumb mark. Others may blend that score mark a little bit better, okay? Well, some artists also you'll see might put a little thumb rest by taking a small little ball of clay, patting it out like a button, and then scoring and slipping that onto the top of the handle. And this becomes just a design element, but it also aids as a cool little thumb rest when you're holding your mug. So there's all sorts of handles you can come up with. There's no one way, but you have to create the handle that's going to fit your vessel the best. Questions? Now, what would be the best way for me to let this dry at this point, you think? Since I've just joined two pieces together, what would be the safest way? Put it in your cabinet, but keep it well wrapped until it's totally dry, at least for 3 or 4 days, to allow for the handle and the body of your mug to fuse. If you force dry it too quickly, they could shrink and pop off of one another.